Blog Talk Radio.
Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Hope everybody's having a great day. It's Tuesday, and it's the American Sports History Podcast hosted by Peter Ray, live from Cleveland, Ohio. Yours truly, Mark Mancini, producing this. 347-205-9631. You can catch the archive version on blogtalkradio.com/Mancini Sports. Podcast platforms next month, StreamYard, Zoom coming into the equation. It's now powered by Mancini Media. So without further ado, let me lay the red carpet down, put the podium in its place, hand off the mic. First of all, Peter, how are you? Second of all, how can people get a hold of you? Third of all, boy, this is a heck of a guest that's coming through today, my friend.
Oh, hi, Mark. I'm doing well, and I have a YouTube channel. It's my name, Peter J. Ray. I have a website at Adventures in History with Peter J. Ray at peterjray.com. I make history videos, and you're absolutely right. Tonight's guest reminds me of the book. Her life story reminds me of the book Triumph Born of Tragedy by Andre Thornton, former Major League Baseball player. Tonight's guest has had a really inspirational life, horrific tragedy, but victory, and she's become the greatest Atlanta Falcons sports fan of all time. But more than that, a real humanitarian involved with all kinds of work, helping other people. And a lot of many people are often destroyed by tragedy, but tragedy can really help us to see that there is suffering in the world. And our guest tonight does so much, not just as a big fan, a super fan of the Atlanta Falcons, but just a lot of good humanitarian work for other people in Atlanta. She is from Forsyth, Georgia, lives in Macon, Georgia. She worked as a policewoman, and welcome to the show, the person they call Birdlady, Carolyn Freeman.
Hello.
Yeah, so Carolyn, can you tell us your story? You've probably told it many times. Your story of this incredible story. I watched some of your videos where you had this. You had already you had died, and you talked to your father. Incredible. I've heard these different stories, people, and he said you have to go back. You have work to do, and you've been doing work. So can you tell our audience this incredible story of your life? Really, really inspiring.
Well, I took a little fall off of a rooftop about 42 feet. So that began the beginning of my journey. And I was 27 years old when that happened. I spent the next 12 years in and out of the hospital, surgeries. I spent all of those years in a wheelchair. And then I was completely bedridden for many years. And insurance, physical therapy insurance basically ran out. They told me to accept my situation, that I would never walk again, that I would basically die in that bed. And I accepted that for so long that I just laid there sad, depressed, and pain, and just wanted to give up. And I was flipping through the channels and saw a Falcons game. And, of course, I stopped. And there was a special on William Andrews, who William had a lot of knee problems during his year with Falcons, so he had a lot of knee surgery. But this particular interview was showing him he had a surgery, and he was talking about rehab and physical therapy and how he's going to make a full recovery. He's going to run it again, and all came on. And I said, well, wait, if he can have surgery and recover, why can't I? So at that moment, I decided the pity party's over. I do not have to accept anything these doctors are saying. And I decided that I wasn't going to anymore. So I called up my girlfriend. I said, come get me. I'm going to start back going to Falcons games. Now, her response was, what? In that wheelchair, all the braces? That's too much. I said, shut up. Just come and get me. I'm going. And so we struggled. But I started back going to games. And in 1998, after a game, all the other players were actually in the field and had left. And Jesse and Jamal were there in the corner end zone. And me being me, and we left the wheelchair at the top of the stairs. But I had braces on both legs, burst up shoes. I had another ankle brace on the right. I had braces on both arms, both wrists, neck, back brace, and another brace around ways to help people to, keep me from falling. I was a hot mess. But the end result was I aggravated Jesse and Jamal so bad that Jamal finally just, gave up and they had to talk to me. And after I finished twerking, basically, because that's what I was doing, Jamal gave me the name Birdlady. And that was in 98. So that sort of stuck. And I kept going to games, and I started wearing little wings on my back, and I discovered glitter. And so Birdlady just kept growing and growing and growing. And during this process, I shed the braces. I shed the wheelchair. I shed the crutches. And it was just, once I got up and got going, I decided I wasn't going to stop. And I began to use that. And I had a couple of knockbacks because in 97, I was rear-ended, broke my neck and my back, went in for myelogram, allergic to the dye, cardiac arrest, and I had the surgery. I developed double pneumonia viral infection, life support. And that's when I had my encounter with my father when they said I was dead and turned off life support. And he basically told me I had work to do and I had to come back. Talk about charity. That's what my dad was all about. And I think that's where I get my desire to help others from, because that's what he did. He died in the pulpit in the middle of his sermon. He got out where he wanted to go. So I just have used that to just get up out of the bed. I've defied medical science. I've been pronounced dead 4 times, and I'm still ticking. So they've written me up in Emory Medical Journal 3 times because they just don't understand I should be brain dead. I shouldn't be able to walk or sit up by myself or even feed myself. But I just believe in mind over matter, and I don't have to accept what the doctor said. And so I feel like if I keep going, I'll be able to do more and more and more. I have no limitations. No is not in my vocabulary. It's just not.
Did your spiritual life play a role? Your prayer life with God? Was that part of it?
Yes, definitely. Because when I would have conversations with my dad before he passed, and I just told him, I'm just tired, and I'm tired of hurting. I'm ready to die, and that stern conversation that we had, he told me, you remember how I raised you. Remember the Bible, remember Job, and we had these discussions, and he says, anything that you ask for, he'll give it to you. You just got to ask and receive it. The biggest thing that he kept telling me, sometimes you just got to go through some stuff in order to get your blessing. And when it comes, it's going to be so much, it's more than you can handle. So all you got to do is help share and pass it on. And the more you share and pass on, it's going to keep coming back to you. And I can testify that's my life. I mean, that definitely is my life, because there are times that I think, oh, my goodness, I'm running out of money and there's still more months left. But I can truly say that I've never lacked or wanted for anything. So, and when somebody calls and says, I got a family that's burning out and they need this and it's very deliverance, it's just a simple phone call and everything I ask for. I'm so blessed that people will say, yeah, I got this, I got that, and that's why Birdlady Cares is able to help so many people. This past Thanksgiving, we did over 3,000 turkeys, and we did tours for 1,200 kids this year, which is down from my normal 3,500. But with Corona, it was not events. It was a drive-through thing, and people weren't used to doing everything on the website. So, there were less numbers, and there were less donations for toys and everything. But I was sad at first, but then I thought about it. Look at me. I still blessed 1,200 people. 1,200 kids, and they each got 3 toys each. So it's just a blessing. It is my reward. It's the reason why that I have to get up every day. Because if I lay in bed, I hurt so bad. It is so hard to get back going. So that's why I tell everybody I have to keep fast and faster. Because if I slow down, I might stop, and I have no intention of stopping anytime soon.
Well, I think when your father said, sometimes we have to go through things, and yeah. I think it's very true, and that's why I think the quality of endurance is so important. Sometimes we just stay alive, and then God is things are gonna, and often we don't see that. When we're going through, we don't see it, but that's why it's good to. Your story is so important, I think, to help people who are going through severe hardships. Because sometimes they commit suicide, or they're just, they have no hope. And so this, I'm sure you give a lot of hope to people.
Yes, I was so close to do it. I was so close and I was so ready because I was just basically tired. And when I was with my dad, when I saw my funeral, I kept saying, I'm good. I want to stay here. I'm walking for the first time, 12, 13 years. I'm standing upright. I'm in no pain. I'm with you and my big daddy. I'm good, Daddy. I don't want to go nowhere. He says, no, baby, you got work to do. So I had, and the only thing I knew when he smiled and felt that pain, I knew I was back here, and I was just really like, oh, my God. I knew that this was going to be the worst fight of my life, having to relearn how to walk, because this time I had to learn how to eat, how to write. I had to learn how to blink my eyes. It took me 2 weeks before I could figure out how to blink my eyes. I mean, every muscle in my body had to be retaught. So it was a struggle, but I was determined because my daddy had given me a mission. He told me what to do, and one of those people, I'm going to do what my daddy says do. When he told me what to do, everything that he laid out that I should help people how things I should do, that's what Birdlady Cares does every day. Every day. We just collected over 2,000 pairs of shoes that are going to Haiti. So right now I have about 3,500 pairs. I promised them 5,000. So I'm close to shipping those shoes to Haiti hopefully next month, the first of the month.
Well, that's wonderful that you had that you and your father had such you had a really good father, and you want to talk about him a little bit? Yes.
My father was oh my God, he was an amazing person. He was a minister, and he taught me how to drive in a 18-wheeler. And I was so scared. I was like, Daddy, that's 32 gears. He's like, you can do it. You can drive this. You can drive anything. And I can. If it has a motor in it, I can drive it. Backhoe, bulldozer, track hoe. I mean, whatever it is, I can drive it. So he just instilled so many qualities in me. He was a very patient man, loud and boisterous. He didn't have to yell, but he just had the kindest, most giving heart, and he was so patient with everyone. And on the day that he died, he had gotten up early that morning. I think he came to my house like at about 6:30. And I have a baby sister. I was 15 when she was born. The doctor told my mom she had a hernia, and I got another sister. So he told me, you got to promise me you're going to teach her how to skin a catfish, how to plant a garden, and how to change the tire. And I said, Daddy, why are you at my house? Taught me. He just promised me and promised me she's going to college. And I said, Dad, he just promised me, boy. And I said, I'll promise you anything if I can just go back to bed. And we laughed and kissed. And, that particular Sunday, he was preaching the Lord's Prayer, and he died in the middle of that sermon. He just stopped and said, I can't finish this, but I need you to do one thing, and it's the last thing I'll ever ask you to do. And that's finish this prayer when you go home. And he just laid down and died with a big smile on his face. Of course, I wanted to go with him. I just didn't see me face this world without him. But, it's like it was 15, 20 years ago, and I still roll over and grab the phone. I got to call Daddy because he's still here with me. I talk to him every day.
I'm sure you do. That's wonderful, beautiful. Because even though after our parents are gone, they're still our parents, and we can, and I think we can, communicate with them, and at least the memory is always there. And I had a wonderful father myself. He's been gone now for about 9 years, but he's still an important part of my life because I think of the example of his life and as a guide. Now I want to change topics here. 4 years ago, I was watching the Super Bowl, and I root for the teams that haven't won a championship or haven't for a long time. And I was rooting hard for the Falcons against the Patriots, who were like the team I rooted the most against because they got so many titles.
Rings. Yeah.
What's that?
I said they've got enough rings.
Yeah, they got too many. So that when I was watching that, it was just horrible. It was sickening. It was heartbreaking. And I think you might be the first. And here you are, the super Atlanta Falcons fan. And I thought I just want to tell you, that I'm so sorry, and I feel for you and all the fans and everybody because I thought that what you folks went through was like there couldn't have been worse, unless it's you want to talk about the Buffalo Bills losing 4 Super Bowls in a row. So anyway, I feel I'm from here in Cleveland, so I just want to tell you that. You want to talk about that experience?
Oh my goodness, it was the feeling going into that place was just like I was just like floated in. And I being the bird lady, it was aggravating everybody, jumping up and down, yelling and screaming, doing cameras on me. And there was this one patient standing the aisle from me, and he just had his hand on his chin with on his knee. He was just pissed. He put his eye up at me, and he was just pissed. So I sat on the step next to him. I said, "Excuse me, Mr. Patriot fan. Seriously." He said, "What, bird lady?" I said, "Am I aggravating you?" He says, "Yes, very much so." I said, "Well, listen, how many rings do you have?" He says, "I got a few." I said, "Well, I don't have any. I don't have not a one." I said, "So please, let me be happy. Let me dance, let me jump, let me sing, let me do whatever. This is my first time, I'm going to get my ring." And he looked at me. I said, "Please." And he turned up, he stood up, and he says, "Okay, everybody, listen. Let Bird let her have a good time. It's her first ring. They beat our ass. Let them have it." He sat back down. I was like, I had the best time. Now, after halftime, I hit a wall, and I got sleepy. My blood sugar dropped. I needed something sweet. I couldn't find anything. So I said, let me just sit here and just close my eyes for 2 seconds. And when I opened my eyes back up, there were like 6 cameras pointed at me. And I said, I better not sit on the internet. And to this day, I haven't. But the guy that I had a conversation with, he said, "Bird lady." I said, "Yeah." He just checked out the scoreboard. And I don't remember anything after that point. I was just like, what happened? And then they didn't keep the ball on the ground. It was just these stupid plays. And I don't know. I'm still in denial. I still don't believe it happened, and I saw it. I was there. But leaving that place was the most awful. That was the worst walk out of here because the Patriots were not being nice. I saved the guy my ticket to go on the field so he could enjoy the celebration. And he snatched it out of my hand and called me a loser and ran off. So no thank you. It was horrible. It was horrible. It really was.
Well, it's we were talking on the phone yesterday, I think, and one of the things you talked about I thought it was so wonderful is that sports teams they have good and bad seasons, and you talked about the importance of being loyal and always positive and supportive of your team and through thick and thin, no matter what. And okay, they can lose, but do you want to talk about sportsmanship and being a fan and trying what you believe is the right thing as a fan?
I think if you're a fan, you got to be committed. If you've got Falcon stuff all over your house, you got the Falcon jerseys, your tag and everything. When your team starts to not win, when they're losing the third quarter and there's a 20-point difference, don't get up and walk out because that's the time the boys need you the most. That's one thing that the players tell me all the time that hurts them more than anything else are the fickle fans that we have in Atlanta. And we do. Bandwagon fans, I'll leave the light on for them because I know they're always coming back. So if we win a couple of games, they'll be back. But I use an analogy. I tell everybody that when you have a baby, if you have an ugly baby, that's still your baby. You got to take it home. You got to love it, feed it, change clothes, take it to the bath, all of that because they're our babies. So whether they're winning or losing, you still got to defend them, represent for them, be proud of them, and boost them up. Be there. I don't care if we're losing. You got to. I don't leave my seat until it's 0-0, .0, and then I head downstairs. Because they know that if nobody else is there, Birdlady got their back. Because I always tell them, you got to take care of what's on the field. I got the stand. So I'm like the hall monitor, the stand. I'm the cheerleader. I'm the one that's getting everybody riled up. So now on that side note, I don't normally go down when they lose because they're not in the best of moods. But they know I'm still there. Each one of them just tell me goodbye as they leave the field. So I just don't. There are other fan bases that are just, I think, are more established and are better than Atlanta. We're getting there. I think once we have a winning season, once we get a ring or something, they'll all come on. But when we left the dome and built the stadium, we lost a lot of true fans simply because they couldn't afford a ticket sale and a higher ticket price. So that's what's sad. just rotates yearly. It just it rotates every year.
Yeah, the '86 Browns were in this playoff game against the Jets, and the Jets took a 10-point lead, 4 minutes to go in Cleveland. The fans, thousands of fans, left the field. And I thought, how do those players feel? They could see the and I thought, and we won that game in double overtime. And a lot of the fans they got to their car, and so I thought, oh, why are you doing that? Come on, this is. But anyway, that's just they're. The thing, as a fan, we have to. There's winning and losing. We have to learn how to lose. We all want to win, but we have to be gracious. Lose. If you lose, it doesn't mean you're a loser. We just lose, and then have respect. Give respect to both teams. The winning team, and especially if your team lost. And there's a lot. I hate it when fans are so hard on players and very critical. Come on, they did their best. Now come on, we're not. We got to do our best, and we're not. We're not doing our best because we're being hard on the guys when we shouldn't be doing that.
Now I'm going to jab at the other teams. I'm going to pick at them, but I'm always going to leave them with have a safe trip home. Have a safe trip home. You're good. You have a safe trip. Be good. But I'm going to jab on them. Talk about my thing when the Cleveland Brown comes home. When Cleveland Brown comes, they always say if this Brown flush it down. I got some little jokes for them. Kansas City, I told them I had a broom. That particular game we played Kansas City, I had a broom, a system like the Wizard of Oz, and a house to crush them. And, I pick at the fans, but they all love me. Say that I have fans and followers and at all 32 stadiums, players and the fans. Front office all love me because I'm sort of my egg got cracked. They dropped me when the mold was broken. So I don't claim sanity. I think it's boring. I might be sane when I grow up, but right now I'm the bird lady and I'm having the time of my life. I just am.
Well, we have area code 646 listening. So, and actually, Carolyn, what you've done is like the dream of a fan because you have the average fan and you're just just anonymous. But here you're famous and you have an impact and see the players come and go and you're always there and that's and you have an impact, a positive impact, and that's incredible. That's beautiful, really.
And so you can't get rid of me.
Do you want to? Are there any players you want to talk about that you've had become friends with over the years?
This is all of them. All of them.
Right.
I still keep tabs on all of them, and even when they leave, once they retire, when they go to other teams, they're all. Once you're one of my boys, and you've got your who. Then you're my boy forever. That's just it. So I still stay in touch with who I've talked with this week. I think I said Matt Bryant. I think I talked to his wife this week. Really, it's sort of early in the week. I think that's the only person I spoke to. I think I sent New a message this weekend. Somebody else came up. Ricardo Allen, he came up with something. So that was friends without interactions with this week, but they're all my boys, and I stand behind all of them. I hate this time of year because I know I'm about to start losing players. It's going to be really hard this year because I haven't had I didn't see them. I haven't seen them since 2019, so it's going to be really hard because I'm no longer a Falcon, and I can't even get a buy it. So.
Yeah, I feel the same way. The former players, I'm always, especially like from the 70s when I was young and I was really following the team. I love to hear about them, and if I ever met them, I'd love to, because to me they're always even they're no longer playing, but to me they're always Cleveland Browns or Indians or Cavs or whatever, and I always wish them well, because they were a part of my life, and they're part of Cleveland's life. Do you want to talk about your routine during games? You apparently are on your feet quite a bit.
I am. Well, it has changed a little bit, with the stadium. But let's tell you my routine when the dome was just there. I don't go to bed on Saturday night because I go in here and make up at 2:30. Normally it's depending upon the outfit and the makeup. It takes anywhere from 6 to 8 hours to get Birdladied up.
Wow.
When I leave out of my So when I leave out of my subdivision, my neighbors actually will get up and line the street or whatever so they can check out what I have on. And then I normally stop at least 2 or 3 times on the interstate on my hour and 20-minute drive up stadium for my ex-coworkers, state patrolmen, deputy sheriffs, whatever, who want to stop and picture or see what I'm wearing. So to be there around anywhere between 6:30 and 7, and I would do my media tour, so local stations and the network, and then I would do what I call the tour of the tailgate, which meant I went from tailgate to tailgate. Sometimes I would have my backup dancers, the Birdhead, and we would perform. And then I go in, I try to make my way in. I perform at Falcons Landing on the stage. I might give away something for one of the tailgates for the radio station or for Budweiser or something like that because I'm in the Bud Light Hall of Fame, so I always have to do stuff for them. And then I head in so that I can be in place when the boys come on the field. Now, when I first came to Birdlady, I would be there, my seat's right there in the corner of the tunnel, and I would lean my wing down and they touch my wing for good luck coming in and out. So eventually I gave them sets to wing to take you to the locker room, but, sometimes I don't always make my seat. And so they pulled up 2 or 3 sets of wings in the locker room that they carried with them. So that was our tradition. And in the dome, I would sit down for the first half of the first quarter, then I would get up, first level and second level, and they'll get me to halftime. And third quarter, I'm on third level. And then I'm back down to my seat. Normally about halfway through the fourth quarter, I get to sit down for the last few minutes of the game. Just bring on song. We should get my seat in because we have a tradition. We both get together every day. So that was my routine. Now, I haven't been able to lap the stadium yet. That's huge. And I can't go 4-7 without that. That's my picture. It's a time matter. I just run out of time. Not that I'm tired, but run out of time. Because everybody's stopping me, so I don't normally make my spots a lot. I make the main one, so.
And you're in a Hall of Fame?
Yeah, the Birdlady Hall of Fame. I was the first person inducted into it, and I am the only female in the NFC South. It was after my Bud Light, and Anheuser-Busch.
The Bud Light Hall of Fame.
Yes, the Bud Light Hall of Fame.
You want to talk about your charity work, your community service?
Yes, Birdlady Cares is a 501c3. We work with children of domestic violence, bullying, and low self-esteem through educational programs, tutoring and mentoring programs, scholarships. We do a 3-day summer camp every year. Birds from the Birdlady, that's turkeys at Thanksgiving. The Birdlady Christmas Wish. These things, we have a tutoring program and a mentorship program. And we just also do disaster relief. That just sort of got added because we partnered with the Red Cross. And so disaster relief just fell in there when things happened, when the storm happened. And when Harvey came through Florida, I sent down 3 18-wheelers full of supplies, 2 full of supplies and 1 full of water. And it wasn't that I was trying to do that or planning to do that. It's just if somebody calls and says, I got a truck full of blankets, yeah, I'm going to take them. So we can sort of like anytime anybody needs anything, I have people calling because they can't pay their light bill and things, and that's not anything that we really do, but I can point it in the right direction. So we just try to help people, and my thing is children, that's our future. We got to take care of them. So, we have to be a voice for them. We've got to get a hold on childhood diabetes. I love video games, but get up and get some exercise. Corona has made that more difficult, so we're seeing more health issues with kids. And education, I believe everybody should go to college. There's just no other option because if you want to be successful in this world, you've got to have a good education. And those are the things that I push, and kids know this when they see me, because I feel enough towards them. I talk to my car and things, and they know that the first thing I'm going to ask them about is their grades. So if they come up to me, Birdlady, I'm in straight A's, that's the first thing they want to get that out of the mix because they know that we're going to have a conversation if their grades aren't good. And then if they are good, then I often actually personally tutor them to help get their grades up. So I get to play with the kids, I do all of that.
Our guest has been Carolyn Freeman, the Birdlady, the uber sports fan for the Atlanta Falcons. The time has flown, Caroline. We're out of time. Do you have any final words for our listeners?
That's my site, Atlanta Falcons Birdlady at Instagram, Atlanta Birdlady on YouTube, Atlanta Falcons Birdlady on Facebook, and then let me know when you want me to close it out.
Well, it's been wonderful having you on the show. It's very inspiring, and I'm glad to learn about you, and it's just tremendous. And again, I'm sorry about the Super Bowl 4 years ago. God bless you. Keep up the good work. And
watch it is. Here it comes.
There we go. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Carolyn Freeman. Dear, next week, our guest will be Robert Conley, a Pittsburgh Steelers podcast fellow. Dear listener, may the road rise to meet you. May the wind be at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face and rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Good night, everybody. Thanks again, Caroline.
Amen. Thank you.
Okay, very good.